Yeah, that was mine. Where would you go?
Looks like someone escaping. What was the thing? All right, thank you. Welcome everyone to this September 30th, I think. Ordinary Council meeting for the Shire of Wyndham East Kimberley. At 1, the declaration of the opening. Members of the public are advised that recommendations to Council contained within this agenda and decisions arising from the Council meeting can be subject to alteration. Applicants and other interested parties should refrain from taking any action until such time as written advice is received confirming Council's decision with respect to any particular issue. Members of the public to please note that this meeting is being broadcast live and a video record will be made of these proceedings and published on the Shire's website, and I'll declare the meeting open at 5. At item 2, the record of attendance in the room. I haven't done an add up. 1, 2, 3, 4. In the room we have 4 councillors and myself. In the room we have myself, Councillor Gooding, Councillor Hardy, Councillor McNeil, Councillor Robinson. Attending via Teams we have Councillor Kine and Councillor Schaefer. Also in the room we have CEO Vernon Lawrence and Director Paul Webb. 3 apologies have been received from Councillor Deere, Director Nick Allen, and Director Alex Bell. No leave of absence requests have been received. As we start this meeting, firstly I'd just like to make a little statement on behalf of the Shire of Wyndham East Kimberley. I'd like to extend our sincere thanks and appreciation to the councillors whose final meeting with Council is tonight. We particularly acknowledge Councillor Jeff Gooding, Councillor Bradley Kine, Councillor Dylan Harty, Councillor Chelsea McNeil, who are this evening concluding their last formal function as elected members ahead of the October 18 local government elections. Each of you has contributed greatly to the Shire through your leadership, dedication and commitment to the communities of Kununurra, Wyndham and the wider East Kimberley, and your service has made a meaningful and lasting impact on our community. Also I'd like to recognise Councillor Tony Schaefer and Councillor Scott Timms, who are completing their current terms but have nominated again from Council. We thank you for your service to date and wish you the very best for your candidacy in the upcoming election. On behalf of the Shire, I'd like to express our gratitude for the energy, passion and commitment you have all given to your roles as elected members and wish you all the very best and success in your future endeavours. So thank you very much indeed. With that, we'll move on to item 3, which is declarations of interest, of which I've received nil. 4, response to previous public questions taken on notice, we have nil. 5, public question time, nil. 6, applications for leave of absence have nil. 7, petitions have nil. 8, confirmation of the minutes. The officer's recommendation is there. Council confirm the minutes of the ordinary council meeting on the 26th of August. Do I have a mover and a seconder for that? Yep. Councillor Robinson and a seconder, Councillor Gooding. Against, all in favour?
Yes.
6, 7. Are we 8? 8-0. So, announcements at 9 by the person presiding. On 28th of August, we had Development WA Board Executive and Kimberley Development Commission Board meeting attended by myself. The 1st and 2nd of September, the Kimberley Regional Group Advocacy meetings in Canberra. You'll find in your notes, attended by myself and the CEO. 4th of September is the Kimberley District Leadership Group meeting, which I did not attend. Sorry, I think. The 5th was a filming session at Warrangarry Media by the East Kimberley College media students, attended by myself, regarding our town and what it looks like. 9th and 10th of September was the Kununurra Reimagined Forums held in town and across the town, attended by myself, Deputy President, CEO and Shire staff. On the 15th of September was a meeting with the Honourable Senator Sue Lyons, meeting also with the Honourable Jed Kearney, AM, Family Domestic Violence and AM as Assistant Minister Family Domestic Violence and Assistant Minister for Social Services, attended by myself and the CEO. On the 22nd to 24th of September was the Walga Annual Convention in Perth, attended by myself and the CEO and Councillor Gooding in his role as Commissioner for the Shire of Derby West Kimberley. On the 22nd of September was the North West Defence Alliance Annual General Meeting, attended by myself and the CEO. The 25th of September was the Kimberley Regional Group meeting, attended by myself and the CEO and Councillor Gooding in his role as Commissioner for the Shire of Derby West Kimberley. On the 26th of December was meetings were held with Neil Thompson, MLC, Basil Zemplis, MLA, and Michelle Boylan, MLC, attended by the Shire President, Councillor Kine, the CEO, and Council Chambers, and also attended in the evening at a East Kimberley Chamber of Commerce and Industry event. And that was the meetings for the month. We move to item 10 of the agenda, which is matters for which the meeting may be closed, and we have nil. 11 is deputations, presentations and submissions, which we have nil. And at 12, the reports, matters arising from committees, nil. Office of the CEO, nil. And planning and community development. We do have some items. I'll just make the point that we are in caretaker mode, and as such we are not attending to any significant matters, so this meeting will just deal with pretty procedural matters. The item at 12.3.1 is the adoption of scheme amendment number 1. Number 2, sorry. Scheme amendment number 2. Are there any clarification sought on that? Otherwise, looking for a mover and a seconder, please. Councillor Robinson, Councillor Harty, against, all in favour?
Yes.
8-0. We go to item 12.3.2, workforce accommodation at lot 1503 Poinciana Street, Kununurra. Again, any clarification sought?
Just a quick one.
Thanks, Councillor Robinson.
Just in regard to the caretaker mode that we're in, does the officer's recommendation goes against council policy, also goes against the planning scheme? So if we're in caretaker mode, does that open the door for that decision to be challenged?
I'll take that to the CEO.
Because if it's a decision of council that's made out of policy and out of planning scheme, the recommendation is out of those two things. Would that deem to be challengeable if that decision is made in caretaker mode?
Councillor Robertson, no, I don't believe. Certainly, the administration has taken the view that the impact of this decision that council will make is really, really minor. It's a fairly small addition to the current state of affairs on that block. So the report goes through all the details and everything like that. So yeah, any decision really of council can be taken to task, but we certainly consider this not to be a significant act, and so can't be. It's unlikely that it will be challenged as a significant act. As a normal decision of council, yes, it can be challenged. Yep.
Just because it actually doesn't necessarily fall within our policy and our guidelines for planning, especially that would constitute it not being.
Yeah, Councillor Robinson. Council, if council make this decision, council are certainly being generous and we've certainly had a look at, you know, the bigger picture. There is a major shortage of workers' accommodation in town. So the impact of them having this additional workers' accommodation is really good for the town. And the fact that the current planning scheme doesn't, it's not a permitted use under the current planning scheme, but it was a permitted use when the accommodation was originally put in place. So it's fairly consistent with what's happening on the block at this stage. Can it be challenged? Yes, any decision of council can be challenged, but I believe we've got good grounds for it to be able to be carried.
Thanks. No worries.
Thanks, Councillor Robinson. Councillor Gooding.
Good question, I think. The question I've got is, did the staff consider whether we might minimise the precedent value of this, putting some sort of condition in there about it not being, because you wouldn't want this to happen all the time, and you wouldn't want the public to think that the council doesn't follow its own rules. So, was there any consideration given to try and limit that precedent value of this decision?
Councillor Robertson, I do have our chief planner sitting in the audience there, and if I can ask Noel if he can make a comment on that.
Yeah, thank you. Through the chair. Yes, I guess the matter of precedent is it's not a generic approval. The only reason that we've been able to support this is because it's an expansion of an existing use. So through the scheme, there's a provision of a non-conforming use right. So that would not be generally available to other properties. When you're looking at a matter of general precedent, there needs to be a similarity in the circumstances to the decision to support that. So looking at this as a non-conforming use, as the CEO identified, there was an existing development that was on the site there that was given under a previous lawful development, and the nature of the increase accommodation in there is relatively minor. If to the broader point that you made, if someone looked at that and thought they could put residential development or worker accommodation development on it, in order for the precedent to stand, those sort of same circumstances would need to exist. So I have seen, if I may offer an opinion, in some cases council, when they've done something like that, may seek to add a comment that this decision should not be seen as a precedent or something to that effect, if that satisfied that concern.
Thanks, Noel.
Thanks for that explanation. I think the Shire is faced with a range of non-conforming uses throughout the town. It's faced with a range of non-compliance around the town. It strikes me that we should be doing what we can to minimise that rather than stoke it. So, if the council would be interested in putting an additional point in that talked about, to the extent possible, this doesn't create a precedent, I think that would be useful.
Just through the chair. So, if we put something in there that aligns this decision with the current worker or accommodation shortage, and that's triggered it, so that there is actually a defined issue, and this is a solving amendment that we've taken on, that we're prepared to do it. Maybe something like that, maybe.
I'd suggest the better one might be to use the pre-existing conditions to reinforce that one, because by going to the need for accommodation, it almost opens up the opportunity for anyone who hasn't got a pre-existing use to say, well, that need for accommodation exists, so that gives them another point of access to that. So I'd be suggesting that maybe, and I'm happy to take Noel's, the officer's advice on that, but I'm thinking that the pre-existing use is probably the stronger one.
I'm not sure why you'd need to choose one or the other. Why wouldn't you just say that, you know, the council notes the non-conforming use rights that exist over this property and the unmet demand for worker accommodation has taken those two things into account in making this decision. And that gives some context so that next person that might be looking to do something that's outside of the rules knows that this was done specifically because of those couple of reasons. But I'm entirely in favour of the outcome. I'd just rather that we didn't create precedent if we could avoid it.
I think the CEO is furiously writing some words that might make some sense, which might amount to an amendment that Councillor Gooding might be proposing to the recommendation. CEO, if you're ready.
Yes.
Thank you.
I've got here as a point 3 council note the non-conforming use and the shortage of workers' accommodation, and that the decision not be seen as a precedent. So some words to that effect, if you're happy with that, Councillor Gooding.
I'll be happy to move that as an amendment, Mr. President.
Yeah.
Can you read it?
Maybe that's number 2 after the point 1, point 2.
Point 2.
Insert there.
Would that perhaps be rather than the condition as an advised determination of the decision?
What? I don't understand that.
Rather than putting that as a condition, so you have condition 1 and condition 2.
Ah,
whatever
yeah.
is written, that
Yep.
then gets inserted as an advised determination note, which we always put at the foot of planning approvals.
Yep. So it doesn't appear as a condition.
Mm.
I think that would be.
Happy to take the planner's advice on that.
Yep. Okay. So what you're
Is
saying
it go in the preamble?
That
Or,
stays.
Yep.
But then at the footprint there's an advised determination note which gives
Yep.
context
Okay.
to those
Right.
decisions.
Yep.
And number
Yeah.
2.
yeah.
Councillor Gooding, are you happy with that? Yep. Okay.
Should we wait? Yep. So I'll just say the amendment. Those online comfortable?
It's not an amendment. Sorry, President, no, it's not an amendment. So the councillor officer recommendation remains the same.
Yep.
And below that, then there's a advice determination below that that'll get added into the minutes of the meeting that'll stipulate everything that Councillor Gooding was referring
All right.
to. Yep.
Okay, thank you. So Councillor Gooding, you're happy to move? Yep. Councillor Robinson, happy to second. Anyone against? All in favour?
Yep.
7-0.
Okay.
It's a 7-0. We don't have Councillor Timms and Councillor Dear.
All voting is 7-0, sorry. Just an amendment. There aren't 8 of us. We're missing 2. Sorry, so if we could change the voting record for the previous, for items at 8 and at 12.3.1. Thank you, minute taker. All right, 12.3.2 is dealt with. Thank you. At 12.4 corporate services, 12.4.1 is the monthly financial report. Any clarifications sought on that? Not seeing any. Do I have a mover and a seconder for the monthly financial report? Councillor Harty, Councillor McNeil. Against? All in favour?
Yep.
7-0. At 12.4.2 is the list of accounts paid from the municipal fund and the trust fund. Any clarifications, questions? Not seeing any. Could I have a mover and a seconder for that recommendation? Councillor Robinson moving, Councillor Gooding second. Against? All in favour?
Yep.
Yes.
7-0. Takes us to item 12.5, which is infrastructure. They have nothing, they're so busy working. At 13, we have motions which previous notice has been given. We have nil. 14 questions by members of which due notice has been given. Nil. 15 urgent business approved by myself or by decision. We have nil. 16 matters behind closed door. We have nil. And unless there's anything else, I propose to close the meeting. Declare the meeting closed.
President.
Thank you, Councillor Kine.
I was just hoping I might be able to say a couple of quick words, and I promise I'll be nice and brief.
Absolutely welcome after the effort you put in over the time. I think you deserve a moment. Thank you.
Oh, awesome. But yeah, I just want to thank everyone for their support over the last 3.5 years. It's been a really beneficial thing for me personally, and I've actually learned quite a lot. And I reflect back on what decided to make me run, and I thought local government was going to be full of waste and and bureaucracy. And that was my view when I came in, and I quickly learnt that local government is hamstrung so much in what they can achieve. And, you know, sticking to roads, rates, rubbish is, you know, not the future. But after being on council for a while, what I did find was that it's a large group of everyday people that are always trying their absolute best to serve this community on a shoestring budget. And I think you all need to be commended for what you guys do. I'm very proud of the large scale of projects that have happened over this time as well, that is going to shape the Shire for the next decade and beyond. And I think it was probably one of the most productive shires that I've seen in my whole time here in Kununurra. And although I've done some positive things, there's a couple of things that always still bug me, and that's the underinvestment in digital transformation. And we're talking about legacy systems and, you know, getting rid of some of those wasted processes and updating our systems, and, you know, potentially even allowing, you know, our ratepayers to pay their rates by credit card without having to call, or can set up, you know, plans, flexible plans like other shires. But yeah, so that, I just think that there's some efficiencies to be done there. And also, you know, just because something hasn't worked in the past, revisit it again, tweak the plan and try again. And then just the last one, this is for Nat personally. Can we just remove the clock? Because it doesn't seem to ever want to work, even after you've replaced it.
Thank you, Brad. A bugbear for all of us, I think.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Brad. Appreciate those words and your thoughts, but absolutely appreciate the effort you've put in, and I know you've been thrown in a couple of awkward spots to help people work through issues. So really thank you for that. Propose to close the meeting at 17:24.
Thank you. See you later.
Thanks, councillors.
Thank you.
Thanks, Brad.
Thanks, Brad.
Tony.
Thanks, Tony.